What's up, guys? Good news. Apparently my last video didn't get age restricted, so stay tuned for more Fuck Fadala's films. I did look it up and they have about 10 videos. So, there's that. Today, though, I thought I'd show you a movie sequel that should have never been a sequel in the first place. No, not the Butterfly Effect 2 like I originally planned, even though it is equally as cancerous. But after smoking what seemed to be heroin, I thought I'd review the movie that Michael Jordan doesn't want you to know about. I'm talking, of course, about the movie Like Mike 2 Street Ball. Now, just by the title, I can already tell you're hooked. A sequel to the 2002 American comedy film starring Lil Bow Wow? Shut the fuck up and show us already. And to that I say, alright, if you say so. But a warning before I do, remember how the original movie had the theme that Calvin was like Michael Jordan, hence the name and the fact that he became an NBA superstar? Well, this movie takes all that and says, no thank you, we got our own storyline we'd like to use that's in no way related to yours. But we will use the name, and we hired Kel Mitchell as a main role and found a white boy who's not afraid to be around hundreds of black people.
Why don't you make like Michael Jackson and beat it? Oh!
So with all that being said, sit back, relax, and turn off your computer because you do not want to watch this movie.
Oh!
So this movie came out in 2006, which explains why the name is Like Mike 2 Street Ball. That was the golden year for that shit. There was the AND1 Street Ball tour, the video game, the clothing company was probably making a profit and for the first time ever. It was all too perfect for them not to make a movie about it. I mean, shit, I was even caught up in the hype. I did pull some strings and got them to get me my copy of the AND1 Street Ball video game. If you thought games like NBA Ballers and NBA Street was dope, this was the next step for you. So when I heard there was a Like Mike sequel about the next greatest thing to happen to basketball that's probably gonna last 2 years, I was down. But then the movie started, and then I realized that I made yet another huge mistake that would forever change me as a child.
Jerome, what are you doing? Every inch counts, Nathan.
So to back up my statement from earlier, you can already see that they got no one from the first movie to be in this. I know it's only been the first 5 seconds, but do you really think Bow Wow's gonna pop out? There's already 2 black kids, any more and it'll be a Tyler Perry movie. Also, I want to mention, while this movie does kinda use the same themes and the name as the original, they didn't know how to script out the in-between scenes. Like right after this, Jerome and his friends get called out by a white guy dressed like a black guy, making it even more embarrassing.
Let's play for the court, first to 11. You win, you're in. You lose, you cruise.
And since it's 2006, Jerome's fate was already sealed, and he loses, eventually having to cruise.
That's game, and that's funny.
So later on that night, after being publicly humiliated, Jerome decides to get in some practice hours, only to show us how much he really does suck. Because one of his shots is so off target that it hits the light above the hoop, causing it to shine on some shoes in a place that no kid should ever think of retrieving shoes from. But hey, when you lose a basketball game to this guy, your life's worth risking for some shoes. So Jerome climbs the telephone pole and retrieves the shoes without incident. I know what you're thinking. Isn't this the part where he's supposed to get magical powers and be great at basketball? Well, kinda. They have it happen while he's playing video games, then lightning strikes a pole, sending an electric shock through his TV to his shoes that he has on top of the TV. Then he tries to reach for them like a dumbass, getting them blasted across the room. And after all that, then his shoes become magic. So the next day, after getting hit with what was probably considered a fuck ton of electricity, he decides to go to this thing called the Game On Open Run, which is basically this movie's version of the AND1 Street Ball tour. A bunch of people sign up to compete against the professionals to take their spot. Jerome, who's probably giving everyone around him cancer with his shoes, is just there to watch. It's not until this cocky player named Buck Wild comes up in front of him, shoots the ball, misses, grabs his own rebound, slams the ball to the ground, and then calls out Jerome for being better than him.
Oh, you think you could drop the rock better than Buck Wild? Huh? Go on there, put it up there. Huh? Come on, scrub.
I know. What the fuck, right? Jerome, however, though, doesn't need to think anything, because after he dunks over dude, he immediately gets offered his spot on the team.
Well, we'd sure like it if you join us on the Game On bus.
Really?
Yeah.
It sounds cool when I summarize it, but then you watch it and realize that I didn't summarize anything, and that's exactly how it went down. So after Jerome gets invited onto the team, that's when you start to see why this movie was a straight-to-DVD release. I don't know if you remember, but in the original, Bow Wow's character Calvin, he was an orphan, and he found these shoes that made him an amazing basketball player, eventually getting him and his homie adopted. Well, in this movie, Everyone has a family, and if you really think about it, if Jerome had never found the shoes or had never placed them on top of his TV like a normal child of God, his life would have probably went on like normal. I mean, he's black and can dribble a basketball. That's like, what, 70% of the NBA right now? His chances weren't that bad. If you wanted this to be a sequel people would remember, you should have made it about their white homie who gets fat shamed.
You already have permanent ankle weights.
At least then it would be somewhat original. Yeah, they changed basketball to street ball. Take out all the parts where they talk about the magic shoes, and you basically got another basketball movie where the white guy gets no glory other than when he appropriates black culture.
Oh my god. Rodney, what'd you do to your hair?
Not Rodney anymore, fellas. Double R now. Rodney Rankles.
That's tight, man. You look good.
Which I believe is how this movie started out, but they're like, Fox isn't gonna let us make this movie unless we name it Like Mike 2 and add in a part where the kid gets magic shoes. Other than that, they said our movie is complete shit and they're down to make it. I mean, it's literally the same thing as the original, just without orphans, NBA players, and any recognizable actors. On top of that, the acting is horrible. All the black people act how racist white people think they act, and all the white people act retarded.
Come on, not the humming again.
I can't make the shot if I don't hum.
Maybe don't play basketball then. This movie really thought they can continue the legacy that is Like Mike and not even offer Bow Wow the lead role. Oh, what's that? You want to open a Burger King and only sell salmon? How about let's not and say you didn't? The one thing about this movie that I can say is good is Kel Mitchell. He's basically the comic relief and the bad guy.
I'm your cousin's ex-boyfriend's brother.
He's also that too, but I'm pretty sure that if it wasn't for him, this movie would have never gotten made. The name Like Mike 2 probably helped a little bit, but there's nobody else in this movie other than Kel that would probably get you excited to see this. Honestly, I would be lying if I said I didn't like this movie as a kid, but rewatching it now, I can tell that I only liked it because of the name and the fact that streetball was popular at the time. That's why I'm scared for Space Jam 2. If Michael Jordan is not making a cameo in that, stop filming immediately, get yourself a copy of Like Mike 2 from your local Mexican DVD dealer, and see what happens when you don't mention the guy the movie's main focus is about. Until next time, peace.
Coach,
Yeah.
could you help me down?